All right. So now we have our Mount Rushmore edition real quick. We're throwing this in the week that was our quick hitters, just because we're going to be spending a lot of time on the Red season recap and our topic of the week. So let's talk real quick about the Mount Rushmore. The names are Davis, Evans, and Ford. So Charlie, since you are our guest, we'll let you go first. You can read us your Davis's names.
And I know coming in, not having done this, you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be sports figures, but
Correct.
most of mine are still sports figures, just because this is a sports podcast.
It is. But hey,
I still focus. Not everyone, but so my Davises, I had to start with Eric Davis, and then
Who
I
was
have
it?
Eric Davis,
Eric. Okay.
Eric the Red,
Right.
and then I have Al Davis. And then I have Anthony Davis. And then my one non-sports is Viola Davis, the Oscar winner.
Okay. All right. Sam, who do you have?
I'm trying to remember since I have to do this on my phone. I did have Al Davis. I did have Eric Davis, but I can't remember the other two that I had. Trying to think here real quick who they were. I did this today on my lunch break. So Al, Eric, I can't remember the other two I had. If I think of them, I'll shout them out.
All right. So my four, I had Al Davis, I had Betty Davis, I had Sammy Davis Jr., and then I had Miles Davis.
Man, you didn't have Eric Davis?
I did not have Eric Davis. I was going to. I mean, he's on my list, but I did not have him on Mount Rushmore because, I went with Al Davis for the sports guy. All right, so all of us had Al. 2 out of 3 had Eric, and then now we need to come up with the last two for.
I like Sammy Davis.
Yeah, I was going to say I like Sammy Davis.
All right.
And who was your last one?
I had Miles Davis.
Davis.
And then Betty Davis.
I thought of Miles. That was one I considered. Yeah. So whatever you think.
Sam, do you remember any of yours? Other two?
No. Miles is good with me.
All right, so we'll go with Miles.
I mean, another one I had thought about was Ernie Davis.
Ernie Davis, yeah. I had him listed up here as well. All right, so we'll go with Miles Davis over Betty Davis's eyes. So there we go. Now we're going into the Evans. So we'll start with Sam.
Don't start with me.
Okay,
I got to think.
All right, so we'll go with me. So the Evans, there's quite a few Evans out there that I was like, okay. So the first one is Chris Evans, Captain America, right? The next one is Linda Evans, Dynasty. And then there's 2 Mike Evanses. One, the football player, and then Mike Evans, who was Lionel from the Jeffersons. So we'll go with Mike Evans.
Who is Mike Evans, a football player?
A Bucks receiver?
Bucks receiver, yeah.
Oh, that Mike Evans. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't even think of him.
Yeah. And then my last one,
That's such a
Bob Evans, down on the farm.
Yeah.
So you gotta have Bob Evans, little biscuits and gravy action up there.
Am I going or Sam, you going?
The only one I remember off the top of my head is Chris Evans, Captain America.
I had Chris Evans as well.
Right, so
and then I also had Bob. I had Bob as well. Bob Evans.
Chris and Bob.
Yeah. And then my other 2 were Jacob Evans, who was a UC basketball player from not super long ago. And I had Dwight Evans, Red Sox.
Yeah, I had Dewey. On my list, but I was like, is he better than the 2 Mikes? Probably. So we'll go with Dwight, and then all we can either come up with a Mike Evans, a Linda Evans, or that Jacob Evans, unless you can come up with one, Sam.
I like Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike
underrated
Evans,
receiver, 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start his career.
Yeah, I'd go with
that.
that.
I like Mike Evans on there.
Another Evans I have on the list is Dale Evans, who is Roy Rogers' wife. So
let's stick with Mike Evans.
Hey, for those old timers out there.
Yeah, real old timers.
So there we go. All right. Now we're going to go with the Fords. This could be interesting here. Charlie, why don't you go ahead? Start with the Fords.
Okay, my 4 are Henry Ford, auto guy, Harrison Ford, Han Solo, Indiana Jones, Gerald Ford, and Whitey Ford.
Oh, that's a good one. I totally forgot.
That was my favorite of the 4 of the 3 names. That was my best group. Was the Fords.
That was solid. Yeah, I had Henry Ford, Gerald Ford, Harrison Ford, and then it was a tie between Betty Ford and Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Tennessee Ernie.
Yeah. Tennessee Ernie. Look him up. You'll know who he is.
I've heard of Tennessee Ernie Ford. I just never thought of that.
Sam, who's your forwards?
So I had the big three as well: Harrison, Gerald, and Henry. And then my fourth is former Texas basketball player TJ Ford.
Ooh. It's a good one. That's a good one.
Really good college ball player. Got
Yep.
injured in the pros, so unfortunately didn't work out for him. But I loved watching him play.
That is true. That is true. Chris Ford, too, from the Celtics coach there for a while. But, all right, so we've got three for sure. You guys can decide who your fourth one is, since you guys don't like my Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Well, you said who was the other Ford? You had a different
Ford.
one.
I had Betty Ford.
Yeah, Betty Ford.
Yeah,
That's better than
Betty Ford
Tennessee
Clinic.
Ernie Ford.
Come on now.
I don't know. I like Whitey Ford. I think he's in the Hall of Fame, isn't he? Whitey Ford.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I mean, if he's in the Hall of Fame, I think he's got to go on there.
Yep. So, all right, let's go to Whitey Ford there. All right. So there you have it.